How does a timing chain tensioner, a part the size of a coin, destroy a massive engine block? Today we are breaking down the complete mechanics of the $10 part that could destroy your entire engine. This is the ultimate deep dive into the engineering flaw that costs drivers thousands, and we are explaining the exact physics at play. The part in question is the timing chain tensioner. It's a small, spring-loaded device tucked behind your engine's timing cover, and its entire job is keeping the timing chain taut. Most modern tensioners are hydraulic. They rely on engine oil pressure to stay extended. That's why low oil levels or skipped oil changes accelerate tensioner wear. Think of it like the tension on a bicycle chain. If that chain goes slack, it skips teeth and slips off sprockets. On a bicycle, that's annoying. Inside your engine, it's catastrophic. Here is why. Your engine's timing chain synchronizes the rotation of the crankshaft and the camshaft. The crankshaft controls the pistons. The camshaft controls the valves. These two components must operate in perfect harmony down to the millisecond, thousands of times per minute. This is especially critical in engines with variable valve timing, commonly called VVT, where the tensioner also supports the oil pressure-driven phaser system. When the tensioner fails and the chain goes loose, that synchronization vanishes. In most modern engines, losing synchronization does not just cause poor performance, it causes destruction. To understand the destruction, you need to understand interference engines. In an interference engine design, pistons and valves physically share the same space inside the cylinder. They take turns occupying that space. The piston comes up, the valve moves out of the way. The valve opens, the piston is already on its way down. This design exists for a very good reason. Engineers can maximize compression ratios, which means more power and better fuel efficiency from smaller displacement engines. That is why interference engines dominate modern production automobiles. But this engineering advantage comes with a terrifying trade-off. If timing is ever lost, even for a fraction of a second, the piston and valve collide. When a heavy steel piston moving at thousands of revolutions per minute meets a thin valve stem, the valve bends. Pieces of metal shear off inside the cylinder. Those fragments then ricochet through the combustion chamber, damaging cylinder walls, the piston crown, the cylinder head, and even connecting rods. One small timing chain tensioner, worth as little as $30 to $50, just turns your engine into scrap. Now let's talk numbers, because this is where it gets truly painful. The timing chain tensioner itself costs between $50 and $200 for most common vehicles. Professional replacement, including labor, typically runs between $500 and $1,500. That's not cheap, but it's manageable. The labor takes 3 to 6 hours on most engines, sometimes up to 8 hours or more on vehicles that require extensive disassembly. But if you miss it, if you ignore the warning signs, or simply don't know what to listen for, and the tensioner fails completely, you're looking at engine replacement costs between $5,000 and $10,000 on average. Some estimates for 2025 put full engine replacement as high as $12,800, depending on make, model, and labor rates. Professional engine rebuilds, if the core is still salvageable, run between $3,500 and $6,000. Remanufactured engines sit between $5,000 and $9,000, all because of a part that costs less than dinner for two. This isn't hypothetical. Volkswagen and Audi learned this lesson on a massive scale. Starting around 2010, Volkswagen began sending technical service bulletins, official documents that alert dealerships to known problems, because owners flooded in with timing chain tensioner complaints. Every 2.0 TSI engine manufactured before 2012 was fitted with what turned out to be a defective timing chain tensioner. One owner reported paying over $4,000 to repair their 2010 Volkswagen CC at just 85,000 miles. Another owner's tensioner failed at 67,000 miles and destroyed the entire engine. They had to source a used engine just to salvage the car. By 2016, the first class action lawsuit was filed by plaintiff David Zimond. Multiple lawsuits followed, eventually consolidated in the U.S. District Court for the District of New Jersey. The class action stated that when the tensioning system suddenly and unexpectedly fails, class vehicles lose engine power, which causes a loss in the ability to accelerate, maintain speed, and adequately control steering or braking. In December 2018, Chief U.S. District Judge Jose L. Linares granted final approval of the settlement. Class members could recover up to $2,000 in timing chain repair costs and up to $6,500 in engine repairs. Even into 2024, a new Audi settlement emerged covering 2012 through 2015 A4, A5, and Q5 models with similar tensioner defects. So what should you actually listen for? The primary warning sign is a rattling noise coming from behind the timing cover, especially during cold starts before oil has fully circulated through the tensioner. Your engine control module, or ECM, will store diagnostic trouble codes like P0016 or P0017, which indicate crankshaft and camshaft position correlation problems, or P0300 for random misfires. These are your engine's way of telling you the timing is drifting. If valve damage is suspected, a leak down test or compression test can confirm whether cylinder compression has been lost due to bent valves. The expected service life of a timing chain tensioner is approximately 150,000 to 200,000 miles, but that varies significantly. Manufacturers typically recommend timing system inspection or replacement between 100,000 and 150,000 kilometers. The critical point is this: most owners' manuals do not include explicit maintenance schedules for timing chain systems. Unlike a timing belt, which is rubber and has scheduled replacement intervals, a timing chain is metal and often marketed as lifetime, but the tensioner is not. That was one of the central arguments in the Volkswagen litigation. Owners had no idea this was a wear item because no one told them. Industry expert Julie Anna Petrosky, who has over 15 years of automotive repair experience and owns Southwest Auto in Dallas, Texas, puts it plainly. On most vehicles, the fix for this will cost well into 4 figures and can reach 5 figures on some luxury vehicles. In short, a very small problem can turn into a very large problem. The timing chain tensioner is not the only small part capable of this kind of destruction. Consider the thermostat, a $15 to $80 component that regulates coolant flow. If it sticks closed, your engine overheats, and the resulting damage can reach into 5 figures on luxury vehicles. Or take the valve spring retainer keeper, a tiny metal clip that holds the valve spring in place. Without it, the retainer dislodges, the valve drops into the cylinder, and you get the same piston to valve collision we described earlier. These parts cost practically nothing. The damage they cause costs everything. The $10 part that could destroy your entire engine is not an exaggeration. It is mathematical reality. Prevention often costs under $30 in some cases. Engine replacement can exceed $10,000. That ratio, the gap between the cost of awareness and the cost of ignorance, is what makes this one of the most important things any car owner can understand. Listen to your engine, follow your maintenance intervals, and never assume that because a part is small, the consequences of its failure will be small too. The physics do not care about the price tag.